What if your dream neighborhood turned into your biggest regret because nobody told you what to look for before you made the move? I'm Riley, a Pittsburgh native and real estate relocation specialist behind hundreds of moves here to Pittsburgh that didn't end in buyer's regret. And in this video, I'm giving you what real estate sites, moving blogs, and most agents completely miss. The tunnel and bridge traps that will control your life if you miss them. The school zone myths that don't actually match reality. The one financial mistake that could cost you tens of thousands of dollars before you even unpack. This isn't a highlight reel, this is the relocation blueprint you wish you would have had before you even toured your first home. You will learn what most realtors skip, what Zillow gets wrong, and what your future self will thank you for knowing. Let's start out with the layout, the tunnels, the bridges, and why the maps usually lie. So look, Pittsburgh is beautiful. You have rolling hills, beautiful river views, and so much nature. But that geography comes with trade-offs that buyers never see coming. The city is split between 3 rivers, and it's sort of shaped like a web of valleys, hills, and tunnels. And I'm telling you right now, your entire life will revolve around what tunnel you live by. Let's break it down. The Fort Pitt Tunnel, which you probably know, it's the one that gives you the iconic skyline views. Everyone calls Pittsburgh the only city with an entrance because of this tunnel. You go in, and once you come out, you're getting panoramic views, beautiful, of Pittsburgh, the rivers, the cities, and the North Shore. But what the pretty views don't tell you is that this is a bottleneck for traffic, especially during rush hours. And the fact that you have about 5 seconds to make the move from the left lane 4 lanes over all the way to the right if you don't want to add 20 minutes onto your destination. Now, the Liberty Tunnel, this feeds through Dormont, Mount Lebanon. This is the one that's primarily in the South Hills. What they don't tell you is a lot of times there's unpredictable backups, and it's not uncommon to see lane closures, which make the backups even worse. The Squirrel Hill Tunnel, which is on the east, is connected to 376, which this will connect you to like Regent Square, East Hills, and Edgewood. But it's older, and traffic usually comes to a slowdown because of the visibility changes on the exits. So this is one that a lot of people that are local to Pittsburgh say that they hate going east because of the backup in the tunnels, and it could add a good 20-25 minutes to your commute time during rush hours. And like right now, there was a road closure, so you're not even able to take that exit. You have to cut up through Oakland to get around, so adds another 10 minutes. So each of these tunnels come with their own challenges, and it's something to keep in mind based on your commute if you're going into the city versus if you live and work in a suburb. You know you won't have to cross through a tunnel or through a bridge, and that makes a huge difference in your daily commute. So even if something looks close on a map, there's certain things you have to factor in. Bridge bottlenecks, elevation, and like even icy hills in the winter, the tunnel proximity, and T intersections with no left turns. Cough, cough, Greenfield. In Pittsburgh, you're not just buying the house. You're buying the commute, you're buying the terrain, and you're buying the tunnel. And pro tip for all of you who are like, I'm not dealing with tunnel traffic. I'm coming to Pittsburgh because I don't want any more traffic. I'm coming from New York, I'm coming from Washington, I'm coming from Chicago, and I'm sick of the traffic. And completely get it. Pittsburgh's not a bad city when it comes to traffic when you compare it to all these other major metros. But one thing to keep in mind is if you want to completely avoid it all, the North Hills is the one area everyone says they're like the royalty because you have no tunnel traffic and it's the easiest commute into downtown. You even have carpool lanes, and it's more flat of a terrain. It's more newer, more strip malls, and it makes a big difference when you compare the north to the south. The south is more condensed, which it comes with pros like walkability, more character, the trolley, but the north comes with the best commute into the city you could probably get. Now let's talk about what are some of the best neighborhoods that you could live in. So I'm gonna break down some different neighborhoods based on most people's situation and preferences and what we've seen very popular options for the clients that we work with on a daily basis who find us from the channel and are relocating here from out of state. So a lot of families that are looking for a good school program, but also they're looking for like something different, something with character, charm, and even walkability, which isn't so prevalent in most suburbs here and in a lot of other metros in the US. A lot of them tend to go with Mount Lebanon, and this is because you have tree-lined streets, you have sidewalks throughout, you have mom and pop shop businesses, but also access to bigger chain retails like Whole Foods and Trader Joe's are just right down the road, the Galleria, the South Hills Village Mall, but you're also getting your cute like Uptown and Beverly Road, which has different cafes, boutiques, ice cream shops, spas, and things you don't typically see in every suburb. And you also have the T-Line. So this is the train that'll take you into downtown Pittsburgh. So it's a nice advantage to the South Hills because if you like to visit for games, concerts, or you simply just want to avoid traffic and whenever you go downtown you want a nice ride, the T-Line comes in handy for that. You have your Tudor style homes, your vintage lampposts, and many local events, and families love it for that reason alone, but there are many nuances that a lot of families tend to not know about or leave out, such as like the walkability. If walkability is top in your list, it does change block by block. So you have section Beverly Heights, which is a lot more walkable and dense, and Mission Hills is more quiet and suburban feeling. And there is pretty strict zoning in the Mount Lebanon area, which keeps the values high, but it does limit the large-scale renovations. You do have property taxes, which are mid to high, but these come with advantages such as rapid response for any request you need, plus snow removal and sidewalks and making sure the neighborhoods are very well kept, along with the many parks that you do get access to living in this neighborhood and the well maintenance of it and the top tier school district. And one thing to keep in mind is there is no bus transportation, so it's something that we have to really work with one-on-one with our clients to make sure, hey, you're looking in this specific neighborhood. We have to make sure that if your kids are planning to walk and not carpool, that this has good access to each of the schools that they'll be attending throughout your lifespan of ownership. So sometimes we recommend prioritizing some certain streets like Orchard Street, like just the quiet, charming, good proximity to the school districts, if that's what our clients are looking for. Honestly, we know every single street in these neighborhoods, and we could even pinpoint, if you tell us what you're looking for, pinpoint the exact house that would be the right fit for you. And that's really how we can help our clients more one-on-one with nailing down the street, nailing down the house, nailing down the offer in a way that's going to beat out all of the other offers they have on the table, and structure it properly to make sure you're protected, but the offer is also very favorable to the seller to incentivize them to choose yours over the rest. Now, if you're a single or professional, you're looking for something more upscale, urban in the city, then I would recommend the Shadyside area. This is the area with boutiques, brownstones, and brunch. It's really ideal for tech workers, hospital workers, or single professionals. But some things that you might miss on the landscape when looking at it is parking. So it depends on what street you're on, and Shadyside is pretty good for parking when you compare it to Lawrenceville or Bloomfield, but you want to make sure you're prioritizing listings that have garages or driveways, which a lot of them do, but some of them don't, and that's when buyers could get blindsided. And noise could vary, so if you're going to be right on Walnut Street, although it's not the rowdy place to be, it still does have a few bars, and on the weekends it could get a little bit loud. So if you're prioritizing something quiet and low-key, you might want to be at least a few blocks away from Walnut and not living like there's some houses right on or right off of Walnut. Could be a good fit if you want some quick access and you're always going out and always taking advantage of the shops. But otherwise, it could be a little bit of a damper in your nighttime if you're trying to relax and there's a lot of traffic going on. And one thing you might not understand is pricing is pretty broad here. You can't compare a $400,000 condo to a $1.3 million Victorian home. The comparables here are deceptive, and that's when you have to be very sure on pricing before placing your offer. I would think of this area like East End Village meets Manhattan Brownstone Street. Fast-paced, but very livable, very charming, and could be one of the best city neighborhoods that you could choose. Now, if you're an energy seeker, you're a developer, or you're an entrepreneur and you're looking for something that has more condo options compared to single family, then the area for you is probably going to be the Strip District. This is rooftop decks, nightlife, condos, startups, and foodie central. It's just raw potential, and it's continuing to climb in value, in new construction, in pricing, and in businesses coming in. It is honestly the hot spot in Pittsburgh right now. So about east of 21st Street is where you're going to see the real recent development boom, where west of 16th Street is more of like that heritage vibe. One thing to keep in mind is the HOA fees. Because of the brand new condo buildings, you have things such as just the concierge desk, then you have the gyms, you have the rooftops, you have the fireplaces, the common areas. These HOAs could add up. They could be somewhere between $300 to $800 a month, depending on the unit in the building. And this is one where I would say weekends get packed. It's going to be lively, it's going to be exciting, and it might be a little bit loud. So if that's not what you like, then you could just rule the Strip District out. It's ideal for people who want the vibe, want the walkability, whether you're a couple or single and you want to take advantage of condo living. The Strip is the place to be. They have Asian food halls, meat markets, wineries, bars, top tier restaurants, cigar bars, and it is considered downtown Pittsburgh, so you're very central to everything in downtown. Now, if you're looking for something more family focused on the more elite level, so more private, polished, and pricey, then Sewickley could be fantastic for you. It has that Ivy League aesthetic. It has the cutest village shopping center where it's extremely walkable and you feel like you're in a Hallmark movie with all of the cute events they have going on, the boutiques again, the cafes, the sushi bars, the parks, the river. The homes are so picturesque and literally out of a Hallmark movie. It's a great choice if you think that could be a fit for you. And in this area, some things to keep in mind are private schools pretty much rule it all. Sewickley Academy is basically nationally known. Bridge traffic, though, is real. So the commute could almost double in peak hours. And you're either in or you're out. A lot of people say this area feels kind of cliquey and tight, and it just comes down to, I guess, the social dynamics could be tighter, especially for new transplants. So that's just something to keep in mind. Not every area is as inclusive as others. And that's where we could really help you nail down that perfect area based on your lifestyle, your preferences, and what's going to be the best true fit for you and your family. And so if you're craving that prep school community feel, this could be really good for you as a family. Now, if you like more of the quiet wealth meets nature, top-rated schools, then Aspinwall, O'Hara, and Fox Chapel will be your cup of tea. Fox Chapel is more of the estates, and Aspinwall is more of the walkability and that charm. And in Fox Chapel, you could see some of the highest taxed homes in the county, but really elite homes, elite land, crazy privacy, crazy driveways, and some of the most exclusive estates in all of Pittsburgh. Aspinwall, on the other hand, is more warm, cozy, walkable town, perfect for younger families or couples. These areas are very popular for more of the established professionals, hybrid workers, or someone that just wants a real legacy home. Think of it kind of like Connecticut in Pittsburgh. Winding roads, stone houses, and charming deer. Now, if you want more of the family magnet and suburban comfort, then you will probably really like Upper St. Clair. If Mount Lebanon is the character, Upper St. Clair is more of the clean lines. You have award-winning schools, a massive recreation center, plus you do have some new builds and a bit more yard space and more of that suburban feel compared to that dense walkability. There is less architectural variety, but more turnkey homes to choose from. If you want that plug-and-play suburban life, you want to be close to the biggest and some would say the best mall in Pittsburgh, along with a little walkability throughout that section from Whole Foods to the wine bar to dry bar to First Watch, then Upper St. Clair, plug and play, that's your fit. Now, if you're someone who wants the charm, but you also want affordability, then what's comparable to Mount Lebanon is Dormont. Perfect for first-time buyers or young couples. You have that city-suburb hybrid with really good coffee shops, the T-line, sidewalks, and affordability. You're only 12 minutes from downtown on the T-line. You have a lot of older homes. A lot of them are updated as well. We have a lot of companies in Pittsburgh that will go in and do extensive renovations, flip them, and resell them. And you really get great value for the community and the walkability, plus the proximity to Mount Lebanon and the South Hills in general. It's ideal for people who may be priced out of Mount Lebanon or Sewickley, but are still looking for that walkability and that charm. Now, if you want something that's even more budget friendly and transit access is key, then Castle Shannon fits right in with all of these in the South Hills as well. It's really affordable, it's underrated, new businesses are coming in, and you're only 20 minutes from downtown. There's great starter homes, there's access to that T-line, there's a strong community, you're in the same school district as Dormont, and you have very quiet neighborhoods, you have lots of split entry properties that are around the mid 200,000s. Really a best kept secret for first time buyers who want some quietness, some yard space, but still that convenience and quick access. If you do want a starter home that's close to the city, Green Tree could also be a fantastic option. You're west of the Fort Pitt Tunnel, you're about 10 minutes into downtown, but with that traffic could be 20. It's very underrated for the value, for the proximity, and for the housing stock. You do have quick access to highways, but it does come with like less of that neighborhood feel. And it's really ideal for remote workers or single buyers who need close city proximity. And of course, who doesn't like value? And I could literally go on and on. I mean, we didn't even mention a lot of beautiful gems in the east, like Murraysville, like North Huntington. We didn't mention Wexford, McCandless, and some key staples up in the north, even Cranberry Township, or even towards the west, like Robinson, South Fayette, and even some areas in Washington County, like Peters Township and Cecil. There are so many options, and we barely touched on any of the 90 city neighborhoods. So these are kind of just some basic plugins on if you're looking for this could be a fit. But if you want to go more one-on-one in depth and really find each neighborhood that could be a fit for you personally, that's what we specialize in. Our whole family is in this real estate business. We've been doing it. My father's been in Pittsburgh real estate here, investing for over 35 years. And what we really specialize in is helping you find the right neighborhood, helping you win the offer on the right property, and setting up everything from the home tours, the consultation with us to make sure that we're matching you to the right areas, the right properties, the right lenders, and the right inspectors throughout the whole entire process. Anything you need, we have. When you work with us, we treat you as part of the family. So feel free to reach out anytime. We do this 24/7. And we absolutely love hearing from you guys. Our information will be up here on the screen and always down in the description below. You could call, text, DM, email us anytime. We absolutely love helping you make the move here to Pittsburgh. I want to tell you some lifestyle realities that most videos hide. You're not just moving to Pittsburgh, but you're moving to a specific version of Pittsburgh. Some areas like Mount Washington and Beachview, they get over 30% more snow than all the other areas. And this is due to the elevation. And the elevation could be very tricky when you're navigating the steepest hills in the city day and night. So you want to make sure the area you're living to is the snow taken care of. I know it's summer right now, but it's not going to be the case in a few months. And one thing that doesn't change is winter comes every year. So even though areas might change, some might be up and coming, some might not be, but one thing for certain is it's going to get cold. So you want to make sure that the area you're moving to, you want to figure out, hey, how is the snow removal? Is this priority? Is it easy for me to get to my commute every day? Is it easy to drop the kids off from work? And is it even walkable? Yeah, Mount Lebanon might look walkable on paper, but then you get there and you're realizing you're at the top of a mount and you have to navigate really steep hills in order to get to your daily needs. It might not be as walkable as it looks on the maps. And walkable on paper might not always mean walkable with a stroller or with kids. There's things like cobblestone sidewalks, hills that feel like you're on a 15 elevation on the incline treadmill, and no street parking either. Plus, the property taxes are another factor that could be a sticker shocker if you do not pick the right area or investigate properly. They could range from 1.5% to 3.5% depending on the municipality. North Allegheny versus Keystone Oaks, night and day, your tax bill can make a huge difference in your monthly mortgage payment, and that's something we can help you with as well, as what areas will be the best tax-wise, and overall looking at each house, finding out what's their annual taxes. Is that likely to go up due to the reassessment at the repurchase? So even though an area might look good, the purchase price might look amazing, too good to be true, could be a $10,000 a year tax bill, might be worth it if it's an area you're really looking in and you enjoy the benefits that come along with it. But if your main focus is that monthly mortgage payment and keeping it at a certain amount, then we really will have to narrow down the areas you're looking and the purchase prices and kind of do a little math here and see which areas are going to make sense from that point. And a big trap I see people fall into is looking at homes and falling in love on Instagram, on Zillow, without knowing or inquiring that the sewer lines are 80 years old and they're probably rusted, cracked, and no one's put a camera in there anytime recently. Or it's on a bus route with pretty intense traffic, or maybe you need 47 stairs just to reach the front door. There are little quirks, and these little things are what we could look into on your behalf. If you do find a house that looks great on paper, we want to make sure that we're getting the proper inspections if it's an older property, and that the commute and the location is really going to match what you're hoping for in an area. And a lot of school zone myths that might not match reality is pretty common in Pittsburgh. You could hear a school district is top rated, but does that apply universally to the kindergarten, the grade school, and the high school? Because even within that same school system, the school ratings could vary pretty dramatically. One elementary might be rated 9 out of 10, while the one you'll actually be going to, which is a mile away, is rated a 5 out of 10. You could buy on the wrong street and miss the school you wanted entirely. This leads to families overpaying in subzones with the lower rated schools, or could lead to disappointment and potential private school costs after moving. Buying into a school district isn't buying access. This is something a lot of people miss and could give you a real leg up whenever you're investigating the best school zones and areas for you and your kids. And a huge financial mistake you could make is buying a house without understanding the hidden maintenance risks. Yes, these homes have character, but they also could hide 80-year-old sewer lines, knob and tube wiring, retaining walls that need completely redone, and outdated drainage. I've seen it all with my father in the construction business for over 35 years, but especially working one-on-one with clients, looking through these inspection reports, and going through the negotiations with the sellers every single day. There are so many issues that could pop up on these old homes, and that's okay because a lot of times it's expected, but what we have to do is be strategic on the asks that we're going to ask the seller to take care of. If it needs a new roof, we're going to want to negotiate that in. If the sewer lines collapsed, we're going to need to negotiate that with the seller. and we're going to need to make sure you're getting a really good inspector and a thorough inspection. And an added benefit is my father actually could look over the inspection report and let you know what are the red flags that we must ask for and what's the average cost of these items. Compared to things that will not be a problem, don't even waste your time negotiating. Let's focus on these key items to make sure your foundation, your drainage, your electrical, your plumbing, and all of that's intact, because these are the massive money pits that will get you if you do not negotiate and make sure you're protected. We've helped so many people just in the past few years save millions of dollars on their inspections because of items that add up to be $30,000 to $50,000 each get taken care of because of our negotiation skills, because of our knowledge, and because we know what to focus in on. So if you want to work with our team one-on-one, help you find your dream home in Pittsburgh, make sure you're protected, make sure you have that perfect area, that perfect commute, and a really thorough inspector, then feel free to reach out. Our contact information up here on the screen, always in the description below. This is what we do 24/7. We absolutely love helping you make the move here to Pittsburgh and are so excited to hear from you. So if you want to hear everything else about Pittsburgh, different neighborhoods, our real estate market, everything you need to know about moving and living in Pittsburgh, you could start by watching these next videos here, and we'll catch you in the next one.